Okay, so welcome. We want to welcome, this is Elaine. She used to work for the HR department of Waco ISD, and now she owns her own company, Victory ES, Employer Services?
Yes.
Employer Services, that's what the ES stands for in that. So if you would be so kind as to give her your attention, because she's going to talk about the topic for today.
Okay. Hello.
I don't want to be on camera.
Well, then come around this way. Come around this way, Destiny. It's fine. I forgot to turn on the mic, but that's okay.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Elaine's live. Hey. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Elaine Bothale, and I own the Victory Employer Services. I provide HR consultation, and I do HR project work for small businesses and nonprofits here in Waco and Greater Waco as well. I started my business in 2020, so I just completed 4 years. I do have HR staff, HR generalist in my company. Prior to starting my company, I did serve as the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources for Waco ISD. I was there for 29 years, and then I decided to retire, or I found out I was eligible for retirement because I had worked here so long. And I thought I was going to go home and do a little house cleaning and organizing. And after 4 days, I got bored. And so I decided to go ahead and start my own company. And I am so glad I did that. I was inspirationally led to do this. God kind of just gave me that vision. And got my first client on the first day I started, and through word of mouth, my business has just boomed. It just really grew because small businesses, they are small businesses, and a lot of them cannot afford HR departments or HR staff. And so I'm more of an affordable way for them to have HR services, and that is everything from helping them decide what positions they need, helping them write their job descriptions. We post the jobs for them on various platforms. We screen the applicants. We do preliminary interviews. We do follow-up interviews, second interviews. And then once my client decides who they want to hire, then I will do the job offer, and I'll negotiate if it's a negotiation situation, and I will do the onboarding. I also do workers' comp. I do insurance. I do compensation studies. I do a lot. Family Medical Leave Act. When I was in Waco ISD, we actually had 13 people in my department, and there was like different departments within the department, and like one area would focus on insurance, workers' comp, one area would focus on recruiting and hiring, and after hire. And so how many of you know Miss Mandy Moss, a teacher here? Okay, she used to work in HR with me, and she was a great employee. And so I actually spoke to her class last year, the year before. So it's really been gratifying to me to be able to just have this skill and help employers and help applicants find their dream job. So I want to talk to you today about how you can land a job. I want to give you some tips just from my experience in working in this industry. I've seen it all. And I have a lot of do's and don'ts for you that I hope that you will take to heart, because this skill that I'm going to give to you is going to hopefully carry on with you for a long time. I realize that you're in high school. Some of you are seniors. Raise your hand if you're a senior. Awesome. So everybody's a senior here. So you guys just have a few more months. It's February, March, April, May, end of May. So 3 more months and you're done. How many of you are planning on going to either college or like TSTC, MCC, or another college? Awesome, that's great. How many of you are planning on going to work, just straight to work? That's great, awesome. You want to work, and if you're like me, I actually was working and going to school, and I had a family at the same time. So sometimes we just have to be, you too, yeah. So we have to be able to do a lot sometimes when we're in this stage of our life. But it's all skills and knowledge and experience that we're getting that will benefit us later. So I want to go ahead and share just some information with you. So how many of you currently have a job? Raise your hand. Awesome. So where do you work? Chipotle. Oh, that's my favorite. Love a Chipotle. Okay. Sir, where do you work? Okay, I love that place too. Where do you work? Foot Locker. Okay, awesome. At the mall? Great, great. So you have to have a lot of good customer service there. Absolutely. Sir, where do you work? Construction. Awesome. Great. I actually have some clients that are construction companies. Yeah, and so I do a lot of their training when it's raining and cold outside. So, okay, all right. So I want to talk to you about the tips of what you need to know in applying for jobs and what employers are looking for and what they're expecting before, during, and after an interview. So one thing I recommend before you apply for a job is, how many of you go to Indeed to look for jobs? Okay, that's one platform. How many of you go to Simply Hired? No? What other platforms do you use? Give me some ideas. I may actually be able to grow my business learning from you. So, Google, okay. What else? What about Instagram? Sometimes employers post job openings on Instagram. TikTok. I mean, every platform you can think of, there's probably a way that you can find a job. So when you see a job posting, what is the first thing that catches your eye? Okay, the pay. All right. What else catches your eye? The hours. Okay. What about the job title? Okay, like the job title kind of gives you a brief description of what you're going to be doing, right? Yeah. What about the company? Do you pay attention to what company you're going to be working for? Okay, that's important. It really is. So one thing I want you to do when you are searching for a job, I understand that you're going to first look at what the position is, what that job title is, because it's going to tell you a little bit about what you're going to do. But what I want you to do next, once you decide, oh, I think I want to actually apply for that job, I want you to research the company. And what do I mean by research the company? Most companies have core values, a vision statement, and a mission statement. And why it's important to research that is, if you are called for an interview, you want to impress them. Number one, you want them to know that, hey, my core values kind of align with the company's core values. I think that's very important. But you also want to know that for yourself. Like, do I really want to work for this company? What if they don't have core values? Okay, everybody has core values. Does everybody know what core values are? Okay, give me an example of a core value. True, but it's also internally, like being kind is a core value. Being generous is a core value. Being responsible is a core value. Being a team player is a core value. So all these things, core values are like verbs, okay? But it's what you actually believe in. If you're someone who wants to exhibit kindness, then customer service is probably a good place for you to go. Sir, you work at Foot Locker. What do you do at Foot Locker? You sell shoes? Okay, so if I'm a customer coming in, how do you greet me? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but just trying to
I was like, what was the story? How
Can I ask you a question? Do you get like commission or anything like that? You're paid by the hour. Do you get rated? Like, is there like a survey or the customers? Yeah. And so you want the customer that you sold to, you want them to be able to say, what's your name, sir? Jordan. You want them to say, hey, Jordan sold me the best, what are they called? Nike Airs. I want a pair. I don't have them. They're the white Air Force. Yes. He sold me the best Nike Air Force. He was so nice. He gave me some tips on how to keep them clean. He told me if I had any issues, how long I had to bring it back if I was not satisfied. He was amazing. I just want to let y'all know y'all have a great employee. Okay? So you're exhibiting your core values because you're being kind. You're wanting to make sure that customer gets the best experience when they're going to Foot Locker. Okay, so again, researching about the company. Do you happen to know what Foot Locker's core values are? By chance, do you happen to know what Foot Locker's core values are? By chance? Okay, yeah, that's fine, and that's fine. It's probably posted somewhere. But go to the website and type in Foot Locker's core values, Foot Locker's vision, Foot Locker's mission. So let's talk about vision. A vision statement is where the company wants to go. It's not where they are now, it's where they want to go. We know that Foot Locker as an industry has grown. There are stores in almost every mall in the United States and probably outside the United States. But Foot Locker started as one store. One store that became popular, and they found a niche, which was shoes and name brand shoes. And they're like, hey, what if we create a store and we have Nike and we have, give me some other brands, Adidas, what else? Converse. Yes, all these brands, and we put all of those in one store. All these other shoe stores, they didn't do that. They were probably just selling boots and all kinds of, but this was just tennis shoes, different brands. So they had an idea. It started with one store. Their vision was to become bigger, right? So now they're everywhere. So always research what is the vision of the company. Where are they trying to go? And I guarantee you, they cannot grow and fulfill their vision unless they have great employees. And that's where you come along. You want to be a great employee to help that company grow, okay? Then the mission statement. The mission statement is what the company does and how they do it. I don't know what Foot Locker's mission statement is, but I'm thinking we sell amazing shoes. We do that by offering the best customer service. Do you want to buy a pair? Okay, so that's kind of a mission statement. All right, so make sure that when you're applying, you research the company. Next thing that you want to do is read the job description very carefully. So you know what the title is. We've looked at, hopefully the pay's on there. It's not always on there, but hopefully it is. The hours, whether it's part-time or full-time, whether it's evening or daytime hours. What else is on a job description that you would need to know? What else do you think is on there? Think of a job description or think of a job posting on Indeed.
The location.
Location, great. What else? Contact information.
The age.
The age? Maybe. That's more going to be on a resume, but we'll get there. Okay, so on a job description, it is going to tell you what the main objective of that job is. So taking Foot Locker, for example, what is your job title?
Sales associate.
Like a sales associate. So the objective is to greet customers with the highest level of customer service, be able to show them shoes and sell them, right? So that's probably the objective. But you also need to know what is the skills, knowledge, and ability for the job. So skills, you probably want to be able to read, right? We're going to be able to read, and we probably need to be able to communicate clearly and effectively. That's a skill. You probably want to be able to operate a register. You probably want to be able to sort things. Like I'm sure you have to sort by size, sort by brand name. So that's a skill. That's something you have learned that you can demonstrate and show the employer, hey, I can do that. Knowledge. Maybe you've done some research on Nike shoes. Maybe you've done some research on Adidas. That's knowledge. You've learned that knowledge because you know what? You want to be able to sell that shoe, and you want to know as much as you can about that shoe so you can let the customer know. Okay? And then ability. Ability is ability to show up to work on time. Ability to work as a team member, work in a collaborative spirit, work as a team spirit. Okay? So that's what's on a job description. Knowledge, skills, ability. Then education requirements and experience. Some jobs, you don't even need to have a high school diploma or a GED. It's an entry-level job. They hire high school students. Okay? All you need to be is 16 years old. Okay? Some jobs require a GED or high school diploma. Some jobs require an associate's degree or a certificate for some kind of trade. Some jobs require a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or even a doctorate degree. So it really just depends on the job. Okay? Then experience. Experience may vary. The job description is going to tell you what kind of experience you need. So going into an entry-level job, sir, when you applied for Foot Locker, did you have any experience, or was that your first job? Your first job. So did it require any kind of experience at all? So entry level, you didn't have to have any experience. That's great. There are jobs out there because you want to build your resume. Now, when you apply for another job, you're going to be able to put, I have experience in customer service, in sales, in running a cash register, in running a computer. Okay, so all these are skills. And then on a job description, you have the major duties and responsibilities. So one of the major duties could be, for example, greeting customers as they walk in the door. Okay, asking them how you can help them, showing them shoes. So major duties and responsibilities these are the main things, these are the main duties and tasks that you will have to do when you're on the clock working for us. Okay? And then also the physical demands of the job. Some jobs, if you're working in an office job, in the previous class, there was a gentleman who wants to be an accountant. Most accountants nowadays, it varies, but it's usually a sit-down job. So the physical demands is frequent sitting, occasional standing, use of fingers, use of wrist, use of elbows, because you're typing, probably doing 10 key, use of eyesight, ability to see a monitor, ability to see colors. All those are aspects of physical demands. So, sir, you work at Foot Locker. It's probably important that you are able to see clearly, right? I'm sure that you have to lift. So you probably have to lift about, 25 pounds at a time. You have to bend, stoop, push, pull, climb maybe. There may be shoes way up there that, you have to get on the ladder. So those are physical demands. Environmental demands is going to explain for the majority of the time what your environment will be. So it will be either indoors. If it is indoors, is it air conditioned? Does it have HVAC? Or if it's a construction job, I believe this gentleman over here says he works in construction. So the environmental description is going to be outside, working in extreme weather conditions. What's extreme weather conditions? It could be raining. It could be snowing. It could be 102 degrees. Okay, so that will be on the job description as well. So you want to make sure that you're reading what is required for the job. Another thing that you will see on the job description, and this is very important, is eligibility to work in the United States. There is a form, if you are hired, that every employer in the United States has to complete. It's called the I-9. And you have to present documentation to show that you are eligible to work in the United States, whether you have a driver's license, birth certificate, a visa. It's just required by law. So usually that is on a job description. Also, most job descriptions have their non-discrimination statement. So if an employer has 15 or more employees, then they have to make sure that they are abiding by federal law, which is Title VII, which says that they will not discriminate because of anyone's age, race, ethnicity, religion, disability, etc. Okay, so you usually will see that on a job description as well. Okay, so now you've noticed the job title, you've researched the company, you filled out an application online. Let's talk about that real quick. A lot of companies, sir, when you applied, did you have to fill out an application online or was it paper? Online? What about you? Paper? And so companies vary. A lot of companies do have online applications, but don't be surprised if they want you to fill out a paper application. So I highly recommend that you start getting experience in that. Maybe in one of your classes you'll be able to do that. But when you are filling out an application, a lot of the fields online are required. So your name is going to be required. Sometimes it will ask for your address. I want to say something about address. When you're doing a resume, I highly recommend you do not put your physical address. It's not necessary. All they need to know is how to contact you. Email address, phone number. Name, email address, phone number. And then you talk about your education, your experience, your skills, knowledge, and ability. On an application, sometimes the address, there's some employers that have not updated this. And so you may come across a field that requires your physical address. If it's required, that's fine, put it in there. But if it's not required, you can say, we'll furnish upon hire. Okay, because you will have to give it once you're hired. Okay, all right. So also when you're filling out an application online or paper, if they're asking a question and you feel like that question does not apply to you, like that doesn't apply to me, then do not leave a question blank. Never leave a question blank on an application. You want to put not applicable. You don't have to put the whole word, but on the board, I put N/A. That's all you have to put. N/A, they understand that question is not applicable to you. Okay, any questions on that? Ma'am, did you have a question? Okay, all right. So once you have applied, some companies may want a cover letter, and I don't know if I skipped that, but some companies may want a cover letter. A cover letter basically is you just stating who you are, why you're interested in the job, what skills you have to offer, the education that you have. You could say, I'm a team player, I'm a fast learner, I have the following skills, I have that. So that's something that it's on the resume, but you also want to just kind of give a brief overview in the cover letter. And a lot of employers nowadays do want cover letters. Why do they want a cover letter? Why do you think they want a cover letter? Say that again?
See what type of person you are.
Yes, see what kind of person. See See if you want to elaborate a little bit more than what's just on that resume. They also may be checking your writing skills, your communication skills as well. So if they write like this, how do they communicate in person, verbally? Okay, so just seeing your cover letter will give them more information about how you interact with people. Okay, and then also your resume. So there's a lot of examples on the internet. You can download free templates to do resumes. You don't have to pay any money. You can just go to Google or whatever search engine, and you can just type in free resume template. And there are so many. Try not to click on one that is like sponsored. If you see sponsored on that search, that means that they probably are going to charge a fee. Okay. But if you see free, a .com or .org, there's a lot of .orgs that have free resume. Use those. They have them ready. All you have to do is put the information in. I'm sorry? Canva's wonderful. Do you use Canva? I love Canva. Okay. If y'all know Canva, then you're all set, ready to go, because Canva has a lot of resumes online. All right. The next thing you want to do before you submit that application, before you send in that resume, you want to clean up your social media. How many of you have Snapchat? Raise your hand. How many of you have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook? Okay. All those are social. Did I name something that you have that I don't know about? Is there something out there that's new? I always like to ask the young crowd like you, because you always know what the newest and latest is. And for me in the HR world, I want to know what that platform is, because when I have job openings, I want to get to that platform as well. So I'm learning from y'all as well. But you want to make sure that you are cleaning up your social media. And what do I mean by that? Make sure that you don't have content that has profanity, images that are inappropriate. You also have to be careful with politics. Even though it's your First Amendment right, you definitely have the right to freedom of speech. You do want to be careful with that, because if you say a little bit too much, then that could actually hurt you. So sometimes you just might want to just, it's okay to express your political views, but just do it in a professional way. Okay? All right. So clean up your social media. Make sure that you want your employers to see the positive side of you. And I know that could be subjective, but you do want to get rid of profanity, inappropriate graphics, or pictures. We already talked about applying online. Again, make sure that you're completing the application thoroughly. And if there's a question that doesn't apply to you, what do you put on there? NA. Great. And cover letters, you could also look for good example of cover letters online as well. Canva may have some. I don't know. I haven't searched Canva, but they may have some. But definitely look for those. Here's an example of a resume. So you want an objective. You want to write your experience. You want to list what your skills and abilities are, enter your job duties that you did, for the gentleman that works in construction. You want to say, on the job at, what's the name of the company? What's the name of the company? What is it again? Cardell. Okay. You want to, put on your resume what you actually do for Cardell. Again, make sure you have contact information. You can put city and state on your resume. I would definitely put city and state. Just don't put your residential address. Okay? The reason why I would recommend you put city and state, you want the employer to know that you're local. Okay? Because if you live in Austin, I may not want to hire you if it's going to take you an hour and a half to 2 to get to work every day. Okay? So make sure you put your city and state. You could even put Waco area. All right. Tips for writing your resume to get hired. You want to start with a strong objective. This will give the employer a clear idea of your goals and your qualifications. Then you want to highlight your skills and experience. You want to tailor your resume for each job. So If you are going from Chipotle, you work at Chipotle? You're going from Chipotle, and your next job is going to be at the city of Waco, working in the water department. You don't want your resume to reflect, or your cover letter to reflect, that you're interested in, the team member position at Chipotle. You want it to reflect that you are interested in this position at the city. So you need to make sure that you're editing your cover letter to the job that you're applying for. And also edit your resume as well. All right. Okay, so you've submitted the application, cover letter, resume, and now they've called you for an interview. So let's get ready for the interview. One thing you want to remember is to be prepared. You want to dress appropriately. You want to act professionally. You want to show up or log in, if it's a virtual interview, early. Not just on time, but early. Practice with someone. Practice, and I would say you could practice with a friend, but if your friend is another high school student and they don't have a lot of experience interviewing, that may not be the best option for you. And you also want to have the comfort level too. So the more you practice, the more comfortable you will get in interviewing. So I highly recommend that you ask one of your teachers. Just let them know, hey, I was called for an interview. Okay, and you have a teacher volunteer right here. He'll be happy to interview with you. But just let him know, I have an interview and I would love for you to role play with me on this interview. Let him be the
interviews, and I've been interviewed.
Yes,
So.
yes, yeah. I think it was in the previous class. I said every teacher, every employee here in this building had an interview. They either had an interview with the assistant principal, the principal, probably some teachers were in there. And when you interview for Waco ISD, it's usually not just one person. Was it more than one person, or
It was
two people?
Miss Saxenian and Miss Moss, actually.
Okay, so Miss Moss was a teacher. Miss Saxenian was a principal at that time, or assistant principal?
She was the principal.
Oh, principal. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Lisa Saxenian. We go way back. So guys, I graduated from Waco High. I won't tell you the year, but it was the first year of consolidation. No, that's way. You're going way back on me now. This school used to be Richfield High. Okay, and what they did is they closed two or three high schools, and I was actually a junior at Waco High on 19th Street where MCC is. And my senior year, they consolidated, they closed those schools, and A.J. Moore and the Waco High on 19th Street came to this building. So this building was no longer Richfield, it was Waco High. So they took the name from Waco High on 19th Street. Lions was A.J. Moore. And then the colors, red, gray, and white, were Richfield colors. So that's how you got Waco High Lions in your colors. And that goes back to 1986. I graduated in 87. So almost got it. Okay. So my kids also graduated from here, by the way. I have two that have master's degree. My son graduated from Waco High. He has a master's. He's an elementary school counselor in Seattle, Washington. And my daughter graduated from here. She has a master's degree in education administration, and she's a director of Duncan Scholars. Has anybody heard of Miss Massey? She comes here a lot to work with some of you. And then my little one, she's 24. She graduated from Texas Tech, Lubbock. She has a biology, chemistry degree, but now she's at TSTC getting her certification for biomedical tech. Because one thing that we missed, and this is why it's important to do your research, she wants to do biomedical engineering, but she has to have the hands-on experience. And so she got the degree in biology, chemistry, but she needs the hand-on experience. So she has to go to TSDC to get the certification to do the biomedical, like to work on the equipment. So she's got a plan. She was just talking to me yesterday about her 5-year plan. And I'm like, dear, I just want you to get a job and work. And she is. She just got hired by a company that is in her field that she'll be working while she's in school. So she's almost there. So we're almost there. I say all that because you're getting a good education here. Make sure you take advantage of it. Make sure you take advantage of it. Thank your teachers because they put a lot of hours, blood, sweat, and tears into making sure that you have success beyond high school. Okay? We all will have a life after high school, I guarantee you. It's up to you to pave the path for yourself. But make sure that you're taking the knowledge that us old people give you, okay? Because we care about you and we want you to do well in your life. All right. So let's keep on talking about what not to wear to an interview. Okay. And, you know, I understand, like, when you applied for the construction job, like, you know, you're asking yourself, like, is it really bad to go to an interview if I'm, you know, not dressed in a suit? I would say if it's, you know, appropriate, wear jeans. That's fine, but make sure they're clean and crisp and, you know, not too holey or dirty. Make sure that you're wearing a polo shirt. It doesn't have to be a t-shirt. A polo shirt would be nice. If you're going to like a customer service type job or an office setting job, wear nice slacks, khaki slacks, dark color slacks. Make sure they're not wrinkled. How many of you have an iron or a steamer? Use that thing. Use it. Make sure that your clothes are neat. Collared shirt, again, whether it's a button down or a polo. Ladies, you can wear dresses. I do recommend that you stay away from sandals. You know, you try to wear closed-toe shoes. Do not, and I know this is common sense, but I'm going to tell you this, so don't be offended. You don't want to wear pajamas. You don't want to wear jeans with holes or super faded, stained, or wrinkly clothes. Over baggy clothes is not appropriate. I know that's the style. I know, and I can't believe it's still in style, but it was even in style when I was in school where the pants were down here, believe it or not. But that's not really, it's not appropriate. It's not professional. So if you are wearing clothes that are baggy, make sure you have a belt on. You don't want super tight pants like yoga pants. That's not appropriate. No beach sandals or casual sandals or flip-flops, house shoes, Crocs, or tennis shoes. And then undergarments should be covered completely. So we don't want to see underwear. That's not appropriate. So here's an example. These two people are dressed really nice for an interview. That's dressing for success. It shows an employer that you took the time. It really does. It shows an employer that you really want that job. So bad that you even picked out the outfit that you were going to wear to that interview. Something nice. It doesn't have to be something from Dillard's or JCPenney's or I go to Goodwill. I love clothes at Goodwill. I love when they have a special at Goodwill. I'm probably wearing something I bought at Goodwill. There is nothing wrong with that. They have nice clothes. Pick out something nice and go to an interview. Okay, wherever you like shopping, go there. One of my favorite stores. How many of you heard of DD's? No, that's my store right there. I love it. Okay, DD's has very affordable, nice clothes. All right. So here's some other things. Again, depending on the job, some of you gentlemen may want to wear a tie with a button-down shirt. It just depends on the job, okay? If you're not sure, ask your teacher. Say, hey, I'm applying for this job. What do you think I should wear? Okay, and they'll be honest with you. They'll be honest with you. So, Mr. Schwinger, when you came for your interview as a teacher, can I ask you what you were wearing?
I wore a suit. I wore a suit and tie.
Okay.
For my interview because I'm old school enough. I graduated in 1988.
Okay.
So I'm old school enough that you go to a job interview, you get dressed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
For it. So yeah.
So again, if you're not sure, ask Mr. Schwinger, ask Miss Moss. They'll give you their honest opinion. I guarantee you. I remember Mandy when she came for her interview with me back in the days, and she was dressed very professionally, very nice. I was so impressed that I'm like, I absolutely wanted to hire her, and I love her character. If y'all know her, she's amazing, Miss Moss. All right, ladies, make sure that you're a little light on the makeup. The jewelry doesn't need to be all, there's some fun jewelry out there, but keep it simple. Make sure your hair is clean and combed. Make sure you brush your teeth before the interview. I know that's silly, but it's so important. Make sure you brush your teeth. Make sure if you have gum or mint, make sure that you're going to do that mint or gum right before your interview, because there's nothing more. Y'all have sat through a lot of interviews, and I've had some stinky breath in front of me many a times, and I'm like, oh, Lord, let me go ahead and end this interview really quick, okay? So just be aware of that stuff, okay? All right, make sure that your fingernails are presentable, too, okay? Now, if you're working in construction or, some kind of occupation where, that it's just part of it, I mean, they're probably not going to pay too much attention to that. But again, just be aware of the position you're applying for. Just take time to wash your hands and just, look presentable. Also, let me say something about false fingernails. Nothing wrong with them. I love them. I think I've tried something new this time. I don't know what it's called. It's not shellac. But you want to make sure that your nails are not like 20 feet tall. There's my friend right there. You want to make sure that they're presentable, because if you're going into, let's say you're applying for an office job, a clerical job, maybe a receptionist, you're probably going to be using the keyboard. And if they see 10-inch nails, they're going to think, how in the world is she going to be able to type emails, right? So you want to make sure that your nails are clean and presentable. And again, nothing wrong with nice fake nails. Just make sure that they're not, too long. All right. Then you want to make sure. Oh, is that the bell?
That's the bell for fourth period. This is a block class, so we can stay to finish up.
Okay. We are almost in. We're almost in. Okay. So when you go to the interview, what time should you get there for the interview?
10 minutes early. 10 minutes.
Great. If it's online, how early do you want to log in? 15. Let me give you a hug.
I'll come back to see.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye.
That's right. 10 minutes is a good time to log online. Okay. You're probably going to be waiting. Now, what I do, because I'm the interviewer, a lot of times I will not hit the live button until right at that time, because I actually like to kind of watch the applicant. I'm actually there, but I haven't gone live. I'm watching the applicant. Or sometimes, I'm going to tell you, I do this. Sometimes I will start it, and I'll just turn off my camera, and I'll turn off my mute, and I'll tell them, just stay right there. I'll be right with you. And I kind of just want to watch what they're doing while they're waiting on me. Yeah. Hey, this is how I kind of read people, because as employers, we do want to have a gut feeling about who we're hiring. And we do that by observation. We do that by just hearing and seeing and just kind of watching what kind of person they are. Okay?
I'm like, I know you there.
Yeah. I will tell you, I will tell you, so I was, I'm not even going to say the company name or the position, because I just don't, but I had started the virtual interview, and I told the gentleman that I would be right back just to stay there. He picked his nose. Yes. And I'm like, okay. Not cool. All right. Again, make sure you research the company. Don't forget about nonverbal communication. We see everything. If you are coming in to an interview, or if you're online and your facial expression is that you're just not interested or into it, we're going to see that. If you roll your eyes, we're going to see that. If you're smacking your gum, we're going to see that. Okay? You want to be professional. All those nonverbal negatives, try to be aware of those. You want to smile when you're talking. You want to pronunciate your words clearly. If you're talking like you just got up out of bed, in which I've had several applicants that I've interviewed at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was very clear that they haven't even brushed their teeth, or, I mean, this is virtual, but, you could just tell, like, it's not good. It's not a good presentation. So you want to make sure that you're cheerful. Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to interview. I'm so excited. Talk clearly. All right. And then be polite to everyone. If you are interviewing with more than one person, make sure you're introducing and shaking their hand. Again, just be prepared for your interview. Some interview questions that they may ask you, and I'll tell you the interview questions I ask. The first question I ask is, have you ever heard of XYZ company? Tell me what you know about us. So that's why you want to do your research, okay? My next question is, have you had a chance to read the job description? Tell me what you understand you will be doing if you're hired for this job, okay? So make sure that you're studying that job description. And then I'm going to ask, tell me about yourself. Tell me why you feel you have the qualifications, experience, and skills to do this job. Okay? So make sure you're prepared to answer those questions. Also, I like to ask, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? If I were to call your teacher, what would he say about your work ethic? Your work ethic. Your work ethic is like showing up to work on time, paying attention in class, getting along with your classmates, staying till the end of class, not leaving early. Those are work ethics. If I were to call your reference, what would they say about you? Okay. I like to also ask is, how was your attendance? Was it excellent? Was it proficient? Was it poor? Have you ever been written up? Have you ever been given notice that you may be losing your job because of your attendance? I do ask those questions in my interview because that's important. And if the applicant thinks I'm not going to check on that, because if they tell me, oh, I had great attendance, okay, can I have the name of your supervisor or your former supervisor? Because I would like to call in and do a reference check. And what do you think I'm going to be asking your supervisor? Did they come to work on time? Were they ever tardy? Did they call out? Were they no call, no show? Because if any of those are yeses, I probably will not hire you.
Even one of them?
Even one. Even one. Because you have to remember, I have a company, and I want to make sure that I'm hiring the best applicants for my clients. And I'm not going to want to send an applicant to one of my clients that I know had an attendance issue. So it's very important that you are preparing, planning in advance. For those of you that have jobs, always expect something to happen that's going to cause you to be late, because you want to be prepared for that. Because the goal is not to be late. The goal is to show up to work and not be a no call, no show. All right. So do you have any questions for me? And I'll take whatever questions about hiring. Yes, sir.
So what age is your job hired?
I'm sorry?
Like, at what age can your job hired?
So in the United States, you can start working at the age of 16, but there are some companies that can hire at 15, even 14.
I'm asking about your business.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So I do human resources, and there's not an age, but you have to have experience. So it would be just experience. Like, for example, I would rehire Mandy Moss in a minute to come work for me. Absolutely. Because I know that she's worked in HR, and she did several things for me in HR. Like, she did leaves and absences, FMLA, substitute. She used to be over the substitutes in the district. So she's done a lot. So when I hire my staff, I always want to make sure that they're familiar with human resources, employment law, how to keep our clients safe and not to get sued. Yeah, that's a great question. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. All right. What are you planning on doing after high school? College. What do you want to study?
Justice and business management.
Awesome. Okay, that's awesome. What about you?
I plan on going to college. I'm a major in business. I'm major in real estate.
Oh yes. That's awesome. Those are all great. And and even if you don't have that like figured out right now, I mean, my son changed his major 5 times. I mean, he wanted to be.
Lawyer.
No, it was more geographic, like the people that create the GPS systems.
Oh.
That's where he started, and then that wasn't for him, and he's actually a musician in Seattle. He's a musician. Oh no, he don't make a lot of money. That's why he's an elementary school teacher. All right.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So just really quick, as an employer, what are some things that you kind of touched on it as we've been talking, but what are some things that you look for in a candidate when you are interviewing them?
So the first thing I'm going to look for is to make sure that they've done their research, because I will be asking those questions. In every interview, I ask, tell me what you know about our company, or the company that they're applying for. Tell me have you read the job description? Tell me, what do you think you are going to be doing in this job? And it kind of like confirms whether they really truly understand a job description. But I also hire high level positions too, like executive directors, coordinators, especially for the nonprofit clients. Just presentation, experience, make sure that those soft skills are in check, work ethic. I'm big into reference checking. And sometimes those are hit and miss too. But yeah, great question. Did you have a question?
No, man.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's probably.
All right. Well, can you please just give Elaine and for sharing her knowledge and her experience. So, Elaine, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Chick-fil-A, my pleasure.